Welcome to Mic Check 1 2, the podcast where we pull back the curtain on the magic of audio and help you find your voice. I'm your host, Maya Sharma, and today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's near and dear to many aspiring creators: how to start making a podcast series with a rock-solid plan and brilliant execution. It sounds like a big undertaking, doesn't it? But don't worry, we're not alone. I'm thrilled to have an absolute guru in the podcasting space joining us today. He's launched countless shows, advised hundreds of podcasters, and truly understands the journey from idea to audio wave. Please give a warm welcome to Liam O'Connell.
Thanks, Maya. It's a real pleasure to be here. Guru might be a strong word, but I certainly love helping people turn their audio dreams into reality. And you're right, starting a podcast can feel daunting, especially when you think about a series. It implies continuity, commitment, and a lot of moving parts.
Exactly. The input we got was all about a well-planned and execution idea. So, Liam, let's kick things off with that first pillar: planning. Why is planning so crucial? I mean, couldn't someone just grab a mic and start talking?
They absolutely could, Maya, and many do. But here's the thing. Think of starting a podcast series like building a house. You wouldn't just grab a hammer and start nailing boards together, right? You'd need a blueprint, an architect, a clear vision of what you're trying to build and who's going to live in it. Without that blueprint, you might end up with a wobbly shack that falls apart after a few storms, or worse, a house nobody wants to live in.
I love that analogy. A wobbly shack podcast. That's a good visual.
Precisely. Planning for a podcast series means defining your why and your who. Why are you doing this? Is it to share expertise, entertain, build a community, promote a business? And who is your ideal listener? Knowing this helps you tailor everything: your topic, your tone, your format, even your episode structure. If you don't know who you're talking to, you're essentially shouting into the void, hoping someone hears you.
So it's not just about having a passion for a topic, but about understanding how that passion translates into something valuable for an audience.
Absolutely. Let's say you're passionate about obscure 19th century basket weaving techniques. Fantastic. But is there an audience for that? Or how can you make that topic engaging for a broader audience? Maybe it's not just about the techniques, but the history, the artistry, the cultural significance. That's where planning comes in, refining your niche and understanding how to serve your chosen listeners over the long term, because a series implies longevity.
That makes so much sense. Once we've got our why and who sorted, what's next in the planning phase? What kind of blueprint are we drawing up?
Next, you need to decide on your podcast's format. Will it be a solo show where you're the sole voice, an interview podcast bringing in guests, a co-hosted banter fest, or maybe a narrative storytelling style? Each has its own demands and charms. Then, you need to think about episode structure. Does every episode follow a similar pattern? Intro, 3 discussion points, a listener question, outro? Consistency here helps listeners know what to expect and keeps them coming back.
Structure is key, I agree. And what about the name? That's part of the plan too, right? And maybe even the branding or artwork.
Crucial. Your name is your first impression. It should be memorable, ideally hint at your topic, and be available across platforms. Branding, your cover art, your jingles, your tone of voice, all contribute to the identity of your series. This isn't just fluffy stuff. It helps you stand out in a crowded market and builds an emotional connection with your audience. A well-planned series even considers content arcs. Maybe Season 1 focuses on foundational knowledge. Season 2 dives into advanced techniques, creating a journey for your listeners.
Okay, so we've got our blueprint. We know our audience, our format, our name, and a general idea of our content journey. Now, let's talk about the execution idea. This is where the rubber meets the road. What's the minimum viable setup for someone looking to start without breaking the bank?
Excellent question. The good news is you don't need a professional studio from day one. For basic execution, your most important tool, after your voice, is your microphone. A simple USB microphone, like a Blue Yeti or an AT2020 USB, can sound fantastic and plugs directly into your computer. Good headphones are also essential for monitoring your sound and catching any issues during recording.
So no fancy audio interfaces right out of the gate.
Not necessarily. A USB mic bypasses the need for an interface initially. The other critical piece of gear is your recording environment. You could have the most expensive mic in the world, but if you're recording in an echoey bathroom with traffic noise outside, it'll sound terrible. Find the quietest, most acoustically dead space you can. A closet full of clothes, under a duvet, even just a room with lots of soft furnishings can make a huge difference.
That's a classic tip. The duvet fort, as I like to call it. What about software for recording and editing?
Again, you have great free and affordable options. Audacity is a popular free choice for both recording and editing on Windows and Mac. GarageBand comes free with Apple products and is surprisingly capable. If you want to invest a little, Adobe Audition or DaVinci Resolve's audio section, Fairlight, are fantastic. The key is to learn the basics, cutting out pauses, removing noise, leveling your audio so it sounds consistent.
So, record, edit, make it sound good, then what? How do we get it out to the world as a series?
That's where podcast hosting platforms come in. Think of them as the Netflix for your podcast. You upload your audio files there, and they'll generate an RSS feed. This RSS feed is what Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and all the other listening apps subscribe to, so your listeners can find and play your episodes. Buzzsprout, Libsyn, Transistor, Spotify for podcasters. There are many great options, often with free tiers or affordable plans.
Got it. So, planning complete, basic gear sorted, recording and editing skills learned, and a hosting platform chosen. What about the actual launch of this podcast series? Any execution tips for making a splash?
Definitely. For a series, don't launch with just one episode. Aim for at least 3 to 5 episodes released on day one. This gives new listeners a reason to subscribe and binge, getting hooked on your content. Also, release a trailer beforehand, a short, punchy 60-second audio clip that tells people what your show is about and why they should listen. Promote this trailer everywhere, your social media, email list, friends, and family.
That's smart, giving them something to sink their teeth into right away. And beyond the launch, how do we keep the execution going strong for a whole series?
Consistency, Maya, is the secret sauce. Regular release schedule, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, builds listener habits. And don't be afraid to iterate. Listen to feedback. Look at your download numbers. See what's resonating. Your first few episodes won't be perfect, and that's okay. The execution of a series is a learning journey. Focus on delivering value, being authentic, and continuously improving. That planning blueprint you made, it's a living document. You can adjust it as you go.
That's such encouraging advice, Liam. It really boils down to having a clear vision and then just starting, even if it's not perfect. So to wrap things up, if you had to give our listeners just 2 key takeaways about starting a podcast series with a well-planned idea and solid execution, what would they be?
I'd say, first, clarity is king. Before you touch a microphone, get crystal clear on your why, your who, and your what. What unique value are you bringing to the world through your podcast series? That planning phase is your foundation. And second, consistent action beats perfect inaction. You don't need the most expensive gear or flawless editing from day one. You need to consistently show up, deliver your planned content, and learn along the way. Your voice and your message are your most powerful tools. The execution part is just about getting them out there effectively.
Clarity is king, and consistent action beats perfect inaction. I think that perfectly encapsulates everything we've talked about today. It empowers listeners to move forward without getting bogged down by perfectionism, while still emphasizing the importance of thoughtful preparation. Liam, thank you so much for sharing your incredible insights with us today. This has been an incredibly valuable discussion for anyone dreaming of launching their own podcast series.
My pleasure, Maya. Thanks for having me.
And thank you, our wonderful listeners, for tuning into Mic Check 1 2. We hope this episode has given you the confidence and the roadmap to start planning and executing your very own podcast series. Remember, your story, your passion, your message, it's all waiting to be heard. Until next time, keep those mics checked and your ideas flowing.